Welcome back to Marathon Arena Adventures. I'm Admin 1 of NEFX. Today we're on M2 Suicide 3, the pack by Butch Massoni. Actually, let's change this up a little bit. Not Nature's Peace. Let's just go ahead and switch to the right things. I was testing some stuff out earlier on for a secret project, one of a few going concurrently. Although maybe it's not so secret. Depends on whether you've listened to the podcast. Hint, hint. But anyway, here we are. Let's see what we have in store for this one. Alright, 5 levels. These ones, unlike many other suicide map packs, are, to my knowledge, not based on existent solo maps that are basically abridged and repurposed for multiplayer action, but some basic structural concepts that Butch Massoni played with that I tend to like a lot, for one. So, we start off with Cylinder. Actually, let's go ahead and turn on the Marathon 2 textures too. Okay. Always forget that. Okay, here we go. As it was intended, more or less. So yeah, a lot of action in the middle. Oops. Lots of shotguns and rocket launchers. Shit. So you gotta be really fast. Okay, got one. Damn it. It's like you want to run away from one while you're loading and you just encounter another one that kills you. But, ah, shit. Okay, survived that gauntlet somehow. Oh, hey. Damn it, and I think that rocket guy was then killed by the fist guy, too. Oh, fair. Alright, got one. Oh, alright. Double kill. It's probably better in some ways to be in here, although it's a double-edged sword, of course, because you get attacked from all angles. Then again, it seems as though functionally the bots are often distracted by each other from within the halls, so that and they don't generally have the AI to shoot at the right angle and position through the apertures there, so they often end up killing themselves when they try to kill you. But it's funny because, intuitively, I had the opposite suspicion. I thought it'd be in some ways safer to be in there. Then again, I think just the fact that there's less spawn points out here in the big open room makes it a bit easier to survive and not get not only a spawn kill, but reverse spawn killed even, where just someone spawns right in front of you and fucks you up. So yeah, this is basically it, Butch Massoni is a pretty good influence on NEFX maps, Netmaps, in part because, he knew how to play with simple structural premises and concepts that you could get a lot of mileage out of. And I would take a bit more of a detailed, proggy approach to that, but that core, intense, action-focused premise remains, even if the aesthetics aren't necessarily there. In some ways, the rawness of some of these maps can be refreshing, as much as I agree with the consensus on favoring a lot of Ryoko TK and Windbreaker maps and such. Something to be said for the, I don't want to say Wild West of the old days, like this kind of an overused term, but a certain kind of madcap approach. But I think the raised aesthetic bar, however rightfully, over the years for marathon maps, oh, that's funny, has sort of made less favorable to some. But you know me, I'm always an iconoclast. Alright, so next up we have Suicide Triangle. And by the way, I'm glad that I have found the right combination in OBS to restore both smoothness and functionality for myself and a decent amount of resolution in the playback for viewers. Because as of this video, I'm about to embark on my Total Carnage playthrough of Marathon Tempest Ray, one of several concurrent events going for the 2022 Admin 1 Birth Week Bash. And welcome to that, by the way. So hope you'll join me for some net game action and some other things. Might do one other thing that would be sort of a pleasant surprise to people if it ends up happening. We'll see. There's a fair amount going on. Basically, taking this birth week to do some things that I wouldn't normally make my routine, but just seem appropriate for this event. My 30th birth week bash. Glad to still be playing Marathon after all these years. By the way, it probably goes without saying that I like Butch Massoni maps in general, but this one in particular is interesting because certainly in bot match context, which was surely unintended at the time, you get a lot of training for not just reflexes, but ways to optimize your kill count within the inevitably narrow span of time you have in which to act, which obviously I'm feeling at the moment, but it's certainly doable, certainly hackable. Thought I killed 2. But, having to keep track of multiple levels of elevation like that. It's one of those things where it's like you fail so much like the first time you try something like this, and it just seems impossible. And, it might take more than a few tries to get to a decent score, unlike where I'm at right now, but then after a certain point of trying it again and again, you just get into a sort of groove of it. I found that when I was sort of testing different setups for OBS by just launching the King Carnage level that I played before, because at that point I was just testing it to see how well it would run, and I wasn't really trying to play well on the level, but I did much better than when I first tried it for the video's sake. Oh, I'm already getting a little bit better. Looks like a tentative strategy right now is mainly to circle around like this, which probably was all along, but I was just sort of trying to get a feel for everything by going around. And for that matter, it helps when you know what you're getting into the second, third, etc. time, because the dynamic is different when you're starting out and everyone spawned at once. So no one has a head start over the other per se, notwithstanding the advantage that bots have. Alright, so next up we have Thor's Caverns. This is, I think, the main one that I've hosted online a few times. I'm pretty sure I do have footage of it in one of my Marathon Champions videos. I like it because it's very floaty. It's a low gravity, and there's multiple things you can do with just this simple structure. For one thing, you can sort of hide behind the columns, but at the same time, you can sort of master the angles from which you can fire down even at very low angle, and use the splash damage to wreak havoc on enemies in a way that you wouldn't think would work. Like he'll take what seems almost like a pot shot, and you don't think it'd work, but it does. Plus, you can use anticipatory rockets to fire at fairly long distances. It's almost like around corners to preemptively kill enemies before you even see them or know that they're there. It's just usually a good gambit, and so accordingly, especially as enemy players start to catch on to that, you want to watch out for that. It becomes like part of the map, almost as though the map itself is a hazard. And I'm always impressed with maps that onto themselves become hazards, which is obviously part of why I put in hazards in my multiplayer maps, to the chagrin of some. But what's impressive in this case is that, even though it's obviously the danger of the enemies, the actual human players, and there aren't really any actual physical hazards in this level like liquids or crushers, it's still a certain aspect of the map that players can use to their advantage. And that's another thing about Butch Massoni maps and well, suicide maps basically, and others like them that I tend to enjoy. I also like how, you have to master a certain maneuver with some of these platforms if you want to stay on them. It's like you have to kind of turn inward after a certain point to break your momentum so you don't fall off. Oh, there we go. Didn't know that one was already injured. Because as you may recall, the fist bots have like double, triple shields, so just to compensate for the fact of using their fists, plus invisibility. What the hell? I didn't switch to the rocket launcher immediately. I guess I don't have auto switch on for this. Hey, alright. Got the one on the run. That went pretty well. So next up after that we have sitting in the pool room. Oh, yeah, here we go. It's definitely like an instant kill one. It's another level that reminds me favorably of like some of those party mini-game games like Mario Party. I'm interested in making levels like that, and to a degree I already have. I like when maps can just be designed in a certain way as to almost be like a different game all of a sudden. Especially when it's even just basic mechanics. I mean, of course you can have entire game modes via Lewis scripts and physics files and things like that. But even something as silly as this, which is much easier to do with human players than bots. But even the ones like this, the name of the game is different. Like something about the way that you time your respawns and turnarounds. Maps like these are good practice for certain general maneuvers, like quick turnarounds. You'll notice that when you spawn facing the wall, so you have to turn around really quick. And obviously this is probably going to be the worst performance of mine in the pack. It's always fascinating the ways that certain map environments make it easier or harder to play against bots than against humans, or the other way around. It's clear enough. Well, the weapon availability also influences that somewhat. Like if these are all pistol bots or something like that, then I'd probably do even better against bots than I would against humans. Especially since I can still switch the fists. Well, there'd be some fist bots too. But, wow, this is really bad for me. Might be my worst bot match performance yet, but for whom wouldn't it be? I don't know. If you can do better, by all means show me a video demonstration. I would love to see it. Especially if you could do not only better than me, but like actually be in like the positive. That's another instance where taking advantage while you're still spawned from the beginning probably helps. I mean, hell, technically speaking, just getting in a few kills and then staying dead for the rest of the match would be a winning strategy compared to what I'm doing. But anyway, it seems, generally speaking, especially if you assume, as is generally the case, that there are many weapons or the general high-grade default use multiplayer weapons like shotguns or rocket launchers, that maps with smaller narrow spaces, which is more common among the old school net maps, tend to have a bots advantage. There we go, negative 41. I win a lifetime supply of turtle wax for that fucking accomplishment. Okay, you're cornered. But yeah, generally speaking, the narrower, smaller ones favor the bots, and then the more open-ended ones, like the popular ones such as Ryoku TK and Windbreaker maps, or Douche Tower or Tree Llama, etc. Basically the clique maps, if you will. They tend to make it easier to play against bots and harder to play against humans because, like that shitty score I got in the last map, that's a sort of that's like the reverse of what I would get sometimes in certain maps, especially if one of those maps has a glitch where For some reason, the bot match script doesn't recognize that the weapons are there on the map, and so it gives you nothing but like fist bots and shit. This one I could definitely stand to do better at than I just have. Oh shit. Oh, that would have been cool if that one landed. I could do something like that, but I didn't that time. This looks like another instance where maybe circling around just is more the winning strategy. But there's also the issue where it looks like it's low gravity, so you kind of have to use some sort of maneuver to keep momentum that isn't too broken by firing the rocket. You'll see that kind of slows me down and then leaves me more susceptible to shots. Oh, cool, double kill. Damn it. Can't get a rocket launcher in time. Using a classic kind of Sharkulino-esque maneuver where I'm firing and then immediately pivoting away so that I can better reach a cover spot. And, more out of the line of fire at any rate, especially given that the AI, the bot's less sophisticated. Anyway, I could definitely do better than this, but I am getting more of the hang of it. Look at those switches up there in the circuitry, that's funny. Damn it. Damn. Oh, hey. Thanks for giving me a lift up there, buddy. See those beautiful fucking textures. Alright. That's it for today. Yep. Next time on Marathon Arena Adventures, we'll go to the next Suicide map pack in the queue, M2 Suicide 2 by Butch Massoni. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye.